My name is Tess Wandia, and I'm a senior researcher with Africa Check in Kenya. And this is Too Good to Be False. So to begin, let's start with you, Makinya, which is the first example of something we saw that was too good to be false.
Today we are going to take a closer look at a viral video that was shared widely. And it was on social media, on the all apps, on X, on Facebook, on TikTok. So this video shows a Catholic priest who's talking about thieves. And it appeared like it was directly, the sermon was being directed to him.
So being directed at the president?
Yes.
Oh,
wow. Imagine a priest talking about thieves and it's addressing the president.
Yeah.
So that's why it's becoming too good to be false. Now, if you've not seen the clip, it's like a 34 seconds clip. It's showing like a priest talking about thieves. He's asking, do we have thieves here? Are we thieves? Are we here listening to my sermon, but we are actually thieves? And the clip now shows it's like the camera moves to the president. And now you can see the president just seated looking and listening to what the priest is talking about.
So wait, you're trying to say that was not an actual video? So what is the actual reality? What actually happened?
So this clip has been expertly edited in a way that you feel it's true because it flows and you can actually see the sermon. The people are actually listening to the sermon. It's flowing very well. But the thing is, this clip is actually edited. It's two different clips.
Oh, wow.
It's not just one clip.
So what was the process for you to determine that there was some editing, that it wasn't actually what was depicted when you saw it going viral on social media?
So the first thing we do when we are looking at videos that have been edited or video that look like they have some bits that are not true. So we checked that video and looked for it online in terms of we wanted to actually get the full video, the original video of it. So when we went searching, we found that our priest was actually Father Kenyatta. And so it was easy for us now to get to his sermons and check when was this happening and when was this recorded. So we went further and looked at that video. We found his live stream sermon when he was talking about thieves, but the president was not there. The clip about the president was nowhere to be found there. This is just a very long video that has just the sermon about thieves. He's talking about what the Bible says, and he was not really addressing an audience.
Okay, but on behalf of Kenyans, I mean, it's very easy to have been misled because, there's a lot of corruption. People are, creating new nicknames for the president. And so it seems very, very interesting and juicy. So, how would you, is that something that affects the flow of misinformation?
Yes, actually, this affects the flow, how people get this information and how they interpret it. So when there's something that is trending, something that seems, something that is true trending, and I create something that is actually disinformation using something that is true, people tend to believe it because they already have they already know this person is likely corrupt. So if a priest is talking about thieves, maybe the priest decided to actually address the president because maybe he's decided, today we are talking about thieves and the Bible says this and this. But now if the video was trending when our president didn't have any corruption scandals going, or Kenya didn't have any corruption things going out, most people won't believe it. So I guess, why are you coming with that?
Yeah. So I can see how an element of the truth mixed in with some disinformation is how you really catch Kenyans. Thank you so much.
And even the context within which it was circulated, the way Makinya is saying. So there has been a boldness of church leaders coming out and saying, "Oh, guys, there is a lot of stealing and looting of public things, public money by the political elite." So now, when a video like that one is edited and it's a priest. And there is a frame of a prominent person in the stature of the president sitting there looking uncomfortable. And within the context in which people are very angry about the looting that goes on around the country, it is likely to be believable. That was a good catch, and I can understand why even after we debunked it, it keeps coming. It's like it's too good to be false.
We actually don't believe that a priest can just talk about thieves without something.
We
context.
would want that to happen anyway.
We didn't want that.
So another example, Alphonse, how about you take us through another example that we saw in this category?
One of the things that we saw is it's about gender disinformation. We have a case in which there is an old photo, a mishmash of some videos, and then we have a touch of technology there where they used AI to continue telling the false narrative. And what I'm talking about is a video a video and a photo that involved the president again and the Minister for Defense, Soipan Tuya. What was viral, Tess, is that there was a very short video clip. It's 5 seconds long. In it, it looks like the president and Soipan are hugging. They are all smiles. And when you carefully look at it, the subtext, it's actually in the timing. When was it put out? That video started circulating when Soipan was appointed to the defense docket.
Oh, yeah, I actually saw that. So when she was just appointed, I remember seeing videos where now they were in that embrace and people were talking about she's not really well-skilled or she didn't have the background for that role. So that picture was being used to depict that. She didn't have the merit, but it's like something else, maybe just her as being a woman, was being put first and foremost as why she was elected in that, nominated for that cabinet secretary position, right?
Yeah, and that's the political smearing that comes with around sexist narratives where for women in politics or women in leadership, anytime they get an elevation, the subtext in that video was not merited. But when you look at Soipan, her credentials as a lawyer in Kenya, qualified and with her own credentials, and she is also a member of parliament who has served 2 terms. She sat in the speaker's panel for of the National Assembly, which means whenever the speaker was not on the chair, she would sit on the chair and preside over a debate. So those are very strong credentials for somebody to serve within the cabinet. But then this video, that's what it was trying to peddle. So the first time Soipan was appointed, there was a photo, like when she was appointed environment minister, I think it was September, October 2022. The photo surfaced of them in an embrace. So it's either, it looks like, when you're trying to hug someone and you're either going into the hug or leaving the hug and somebody catches that photo at that time. So you're smiling, you're looking at each other with emotion, either happiness, and somebody takes that photo, it can be misinterpreted. So they have a photo of the President Ruto and Soipan in such an embrace. But when we checked the photo, did the reverse image search, we found it's an old photo. The thing about this narrative building was that it was not just the photo or the AI-generated video. There was also another video using that they had played around with the clips, so that and this is the problem with Ruto. So he's at a serious function, he's speaking, and then he makes a light joke. And in this case, he was referring to his wife, the First Lady Rachel Ruto. And he said, huyu alikuwa girlfriend yangu ya zamani.
So now they are bringing in both Soipan and the president's wife, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So they edit it to remove the context where the president is referring to his wife. And they remove the video They leave the audio and they show Soipan. When the president is saying huyo alikuwa girlfriend yangu ya zamani, they are showing Soipan with the president. And so that furthers, it makes people look at it as if the president was saying that Soipan is an ex-girlfriend or something like that, and that just furthers the narrative. So it's really plain doctoring and manipulation.
Yeah, so that's why you were bringing in the aspect of AI, because now you're using different tools. You're doctoring not only the images but videos, using pre-imposed audio on different images or videos. So this is the kind of thing that we are seeing right now on social media in Kenya. So, and clearly when you look at the political landscape, people are trying to discredit maybe government officials. So bringing in these clips of disinformation is like furthering that agenda. And I think it's very interesting when you bring in the gender disinformation aspect and targeting women who are politicians as well, something that is going viral on social media as well. So thank you very much, Alphonse,
and
for that one.
To take you back, Tess, on one more thing. So here, what I saw, it's the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
So the first one was the photo. The second one was the manipulated video. And then we come to the third one, which is the AI generated photo. So it's like people are throwing those breadcrumbs as pieces of content because they are trying to make a case for saying that, look, there are multiple proof points to back this narrative that there is a liaison that is unprofessional between these two people. But that is just, it's a smear campaign. It's very sexist. And how we do it, because at Africa Check, it's easy for us as experts to just look at it and we're like, this is false, and we move on. But there is a kind of creepiness when you have this mother, somebody's wife, and then you're putting out content like that about them. It's not, and then you even caption it that there was a wedding, and it's just plain wrong, and it doesn't add value to anyone. So we pay close attention to it, and we have prepared for the public or for the audience a very detailed guide on how they can identify AI-generated content. So one of the things and one of the telltale signs, because when you see at the AI, the photo where they are embracing, it's put and it looks like people are clapping in the background and laughing when the two of them are embracing, are supposedly embracing. But when you check closely, you will see the distortions in the claps. So AI struggles with this. It's not that good when it comes to generating or creating a sense of motion from a still picture.
So it looks a bit blurry. It's like the pixels, it's pixelated. Those are some of the hints that we know that here is some technology that has been used in a particular image or a video, right? Yes.
And also there was the aspect of lighting. You will see shadows where there ought not to be shadows. And even when you look at their things like fingers or even their mouth, the way they open, you will see aspects where their mouths look very distorted, or you can't see the fingers, you just see like all these fingers are connected in an alien kind of mesh.
So it doesn't look natural. It looks creepy, as you'd say, even.
Yes, and people believed this, and I was like,
it's juicy. It's a slow day at work, and then I'm seeing some nice gossip. Of course, I'm going to share WhatsApp, share on Twitter.
Like the context that we were given, it showed like, oh yeah, that's true.
Yes.
We were given like they're friends. They knew each other before this. So yes, this can happen.
And because it's 5 seconds. So you would expect people to immediately tell that there is a problem here. Or that this looks fake, or that there is something wrong with this. But a lot of people believe it because of the strategy in the narrative building.
Yes.
So the breadcrumbs that I've spoken about, the photo, the manipulated video, the fabrications around it, and then now the AI generated image. So it's very hard. So when you see you can debunk them step by step, saying this is an old photo. Here is when it was taken. This is the context. And you drop that. Then you go to the manipulated video. You say, this is the original photo. Look at what was happening when this girlfriend remark was made. You explain why this is an AI-generated image. And you can even show clearly that these are the areas where you can spot manipulation. And that educates people not to trust what they see. And as we say, if somebody sees something makes them very happy or makes them twitch and they just want to click share or forward or whatever, then chances are that it is false. And for this case, as you can see, the narrative in some corners of the public, they believe that video. And for them, it is, whether we debunk it or not, it is too good to be false.
Yes.
But thank you. That is great advice. At least now we know to pause, to look at these telltale signs when you're looking at videos. So thank you for breaking that down. And now we still have more examples. So Makinia, which other example did you see?
So now we are moving to our neighbors, Uganda. So in October, we had these posts going round, like an apology from the United States Ambassador, William Pope, to the President of Uganda, that's Yoweri Museveni, and the Chief Defense Muhonzi.
Kainerugaba
Yes.
Muhoozi, General, the head of the military,
you see,
yes.
like, it was too good. People were like, yes, now they can actually apologize. This is, and something weird about this, it's actually circulated in Kenya more than it did in Uganda, because Kenyans were like, this can happen. They kept circulating it. Something funny, it's false, actually. It's not true. But now the thing about this post was, when it started circulating, it came about because of a post that was actually true. So Muhonzi first... Muhoozi. Oh, yeah, I said it well?
Yes.
Okay.
General Muhoozi.
In October 4th, he made a statement on X, formerly Twitter, where he said that Ambassador Pope did something, like it was uncalled for. He actually told him to apologize. But now the thing is, he deleted that post. So that's where the idea came. The apology idea came. So people picked it and now found a video where Museveni and Muhonzi were actually shaking hands. And people are like, oh yeah, it actually happened. But now when you add that photo and you add this idea where it came from and post it on social media, people tend to believe it because it has there's something that happened. There's a background that happened before that.
So now that you painted the picture of the nuance or the background or how that disinformation could take root, so that if I was scrolling social media, I'd be like, no, that makes sense because there's been some other things that have been happening. But now when you saw it circulating, what steps did you go through to debunk it?
So the good thing is that the United States mission in Uganda actually released a statement not long after it started circulating and dismissed that statement. So when they released the statement, people were still saying, no, this is true, this happened. You're just trying to make it look like it didn't happen. So the thing that made it believable was the photo where they were greeting each other. And on TikTok, there was a video of the same, but it's AI generated. You can see the shaking of the hands and all that. But when we looked in, we took this video to the photo and video to check on reverse image search, and we found that this photo actually came to be in September 2023, like 1 year before this happened.
Yeah.
And if it was a real photo of them shaking hands because he was actually submitting his documents when he got to Uganda. And this happens, and people were like, okay, when did they meet? Why were they shaking hands?
Yeah.
So we gave people the context of this happened in 2023. This was the actual event that was happening during that time. And now also we added the statement from the United States Mission in Uganda to say it never happened. They didn't apologize. They didn't have anything to apologize about. And that went through. Now, the thing is, when you delete that misinformation online and people actually picked it, it's not easy to tell people this was false because the person who made that claim first deleted it.
Yeah. So there's a bit of suspicion in the whole
Still, people
scenario.
are like, why did he delete it? Why? But whatever he was talking about was not really directly on the apologizing on that matter. It was something different that he wanted him to apologize on.
And when you think about it, when it comes to this era of screenshots, it could be a legitimate screenshot. That was posted, or it could be a fake screenshot that is generated and put out, showing that somebody has apologized. And in this case, that I think affects. It's here we have say. In diplomatic terms or in geopolitical terms, the US and Uganda are considered friendly nations because they are not at war.
Yes.
And so in diplomatic terms, when the head of the military in Uganda, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is also President Museveni's son, when he makes such pronouncements and tells them that they must apologize, there is an aura that creates where in diplomacy that's huge. And for African countries which view the Western countries, especially in the EU, the US, as having a neo-colonial, almost imperial agenda, where they dictate to the African countries, pushing a narrative that this big superpower in the world has apologized to a country in Africa. That has it's something that is likely to take root, something that is likely to go viral. And I can understand why, even after you debunked it, we still see it in WhatsApp, where people say no, but they apologize to Uganda. You just don't have the spine, you know. And that's those are the things that we think. Whether they are too good to be false, they just need to be debunked again and again.
True. Because, it still lingers in people's mind. Like, why did he delete that post? Now, misinformation that starts with rumors, it's very hard to remove them online. It will keep coming. Like, people will have the doubts. They'll keep bringing it up. But we'll keep debunking them and making them know, like, it's too good to be false.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess what we can put in there is also just critical thinking and going further and critiquing something that appears on social media and being very careful about, going also to these social media pages and seeing if there are any public announcements around viral statements. That's something people should think about before even sharing.
Even checking who's posting what.
Yes.
Because if I'm supposed to, if I'm the one apologizing, I'll post it as a statement, official statement. So I'll post it in all our website to show, this is coming from us. The statement will be signed. We'll have all that. So we need also to be checking, are these statements signed? What is the language being used? Is the language actually grammatically correct, or is they just using any language? Because we have the diplomatic language, how they write their statements. It's easy to point it out when you actually see it.
Yes.
You see the actual document, and now,
That's
you need to
100%.
check these small things inside the statement.
I think I can tell when it's paid blogger versus a PR department creating a statement online. But before we go, Alphonse, we have one more example. So it was around, I remember, the Kenyatta International Convention Centre, or KICC as we refer to it. So please tell us about this interesting example.
Yes, that infamous claim from 2018 about the inspiration behind the Kenyatta International Conference Centre.
Yes.
So this architect is very well respected within the architectural field. His name was architect David Mutiso. He comes out and says the inspiration behind KICC was the donkey's penis.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Oh, wow.
No, but before you laugh and before we let this sink in people's conscience, let me just put it right at the start that it is not true.
Yes.
I have it on the authority of architectural historians. I have it in the authority of the archives, the architectural plans archived in the Ministry of Public Works. I have it in the authority of the archaeologists and the curators from Norway's Museum of Architecture and Design, who told us that it is not true. That is not the inspiration behind the
So wait,
KICC.
okay, on social media, this is what people are saying. A donkey's penis is the inspiration. So wait, so what is actually the reality? What is the truth? What was the inspiration behind KICC then, if it wasn't what they're saying online,
To get to the answer, we had to ask who actually designed KICC. And we found that it was an architect, a Norwegian architect. His name was Carl Henrik Notsvik. Now, he's the one who drew the initial designs. And he worked with Mutiso, who then, at the time, between 1967 and 73, he worked as the liaison or the supervisor from the Ministry of Public Works. So yes, Mutiso was involved in the project, but the architect was somebody else. Now, to the question, when we were trying to verify this, somebody asked us, aren't you just trying to erase a Kenyan from the historical records?
True,
and say that this was done by a white person so soon after independence and stuff like that. We say no. Our job is not to erase. Our job is to understand the inspiration behind a very iconic building that has defined Nairobi's skyline.
Right.
And so that is why we had to go and trace who the architect was, when was the building done, and things like those. So one of the architectural historians who have recorded things about KICC is Professor Manuel Hertz from there is a university of architecture in Switzerland. So he wrote a book, and when we checked that book, in it he says that when it comes to architecture, it's a mix of the cultural ideas, the specific context in which the history, like the inspiration comes from very many different places.
Right.
And so it cannot be that, it was designed, this was the inspiration or this was the inspiration. He also told us that when it comes to architecture, it's different people. Like I can be your architect. You tell me I want a building in the form of this, and in the there's something they call phallic architecture, where they think if any freestanding tall tower building resembles the human male anatomy. So that is what keeps coming up whenever all these tall buildings and skyscrapers. But to answer your question, we traced the architect died, and then we traced the former partner or the partner, and she told us that the architect's inspiration for KICC was, so for the KICC tower, that was an open lotus flower.
Oh,
All the
okay.
way oh, yeah. I see
and
it. I
then
see it.
for the amphitheater down there, that is the closed, so like a bud of the lotus flower. So that is what they explained. But there are quite a bunch of stories
Yeah.
about what inspired KICC, and it's the stories keep coming and
Right. I mean, it's interesting, and maybe it created some generation. It generated a few laughs here and there. But I think we appreciate the fact that we can dig and actually see what was the original inspiration, which matters, because also the KICC is a part of our history, our culture, which is very fundamental. So bringing in that piece of history back to when we are discussing the facts is very important for us. So thank you. That was.
And just before I go, there is the aspect where, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this. So apart from the closed and open lotus flower, there are those who said KICC being open would be showing Mzee's index finger. You know, like Mzee's Jomo Kenyatta, the founding president, whose statue is on the grounds of KICC.
Right.
Then there are those who said it shows an African granary. Remember, the amphitheater is an African granary, and the tower is a maize cob. So because it looks like the design is like a maize cob, and like these are all theories. But when we asked around and we asked the architects and the historians, why does it matter what the inspiration is? And there was an aspect where they told us that people assign significance or meaning to buildings. People appreciate or process beauty about buildings just because they can relate to things within their context. But what people should not forget is this is why we did it. It's not like somebody was going to get harmed by this misinformation, but it is one of the missions for Africa Check, which is to amplify correct information and let people know some of the facts around this iconic building. So what did we learn? We know when the foundation stone was laid in the 67, and the building had to be ready before IMF and the World Bank were coming here for meetings in 73 or 75. They were coming here for meetings. Then there is other things. So Mutiso might have said it. It is easy for people to say he wasn't involved, but he was the architect of the Ministry of Public Works. So yes, he was involved. And then we also talk about who the architect was. So Mutiso's story is his story alone about the donkey's pennies and all that. But from a fact checker's point of view, we just have to say that we can confidently say we know the architect, which is Carl Hendrik Northvik. We know the inspiration from the architects, and we know all the stories around the inspiration behind KICC, and we have untangled all the facts around it. Now we can go stand on the helipad without feeling
But at least the
history.
We now know the
about
history of it.
Thank you very much, Alphonse and Makinia, and that was Too Good to Be False. Thank you.